Hi, you're watching 2 Minutes with Tim. I'm your host, Tim Dodge, and like many of you, I imagine, I'm recording this video from home. I'm working remotely for the foreseeable future because of concerns over the COVID-19 novel coronavirus, which has disrupted life in hundreds of ways right now. So the purpose of this is actually, I think, going to be the first in a series of videos. As you might imagine, we at Big Eye New York are getting a lot of questions from members, and so I wanted to take a couple minutes here to answer the questions I'm getting most frequently right now. I expect there's going to be future videos because those questions are going to change as events develop. So probably the most common question I'm getting is probably the most common question that Big Eye members are getting, which is there any business income coverage for losses resulting from the coronavirus? And I think, unfortunately, the answer is generally going to be no for a couple of reasons. First of all, and I'm speaking here strictly about ISO forms. Other carrier proprietary forms may differ, though I kind of doubt it. Under the ISO business income and extra expense coverage form, coverage applies if there is direct physical damage to or loss of covered property, either the insured's building, or if they're a tenant, their machinery and equipment, furniture, whatever. And it has to be by a covered cause of loss. So the damage or loss has to result from a covered cause of loss. Now, if you look at the ISO causes of loss special form, which is probably the one that is most commonly paired with the business income and extra expense coverage form, it has a mandatory endorsement. Actually, there's a mandatory New York endorsement that gets attached to that, which actually broadens coverage a little bit, but it does say that there's no coverage for damage to covered property resulting from a virus or bacteria capable of causing physical distress. I say that liberalizes coverage a little bit because the original exclusion also excludes coverage for mold. Mold exclusions generally are not permissible in the state of New York. So this mandatory endorsement is actually giving a little coverage back, but obviously not helping with this situation. People have been asking about civil authority coverage, where the government orders a shutdown. And that's true, that additional coverage is built into the business income and extra expense coverage form. However, again, it requires physical damage to or loss of property, and by a covered cause of loss. And because a virus on the surface of a building's counters or walls or furniture or whatever, that is not a covered cause of loss, and therefore civil authority coverage isn't going to apply either. ISO did in February publish some advisory endorsements, 2 of them, that provide some. My friend is rustling behind me here. They're advisory endorsements that provide some limited business income coverage in the event of a government-ordered shutdown resulting from the coronavirus. Those are advisory. ISO did not file them. They did not develop any pricing for them. They just put them out there for carriers to use if they want. I've gotten questions from members wanting to know if any carriers have adopted them. Right now, I have not heard of any. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really expecting to hear of any. It is a little bit like selling additional coverage on the building after the fire started. It's hard for me to imagine many carriers wanting to take that deal. When all this is said and done, and the coronavirus is in the rearview mirror, which hopefully will be sooner rather than later, then you might see some companies start to adopt these products, probably for a significant price. But coverage might be out there then. I don't expect to see any right now. I'm also getting questions from members about whether the New York State Department of Financial Services is going to make carriers hold off on cancellations and non-renewals, and are they going to make it easier for people who are supposed to get auto photo inspections done and can't. Right now, nothing official on that. I can tell you that we at Big Eye New York are preparing a memo to go to the department on that, asking those questions. We are also running it by our peer producer trade groups for their input and to see if they want to sign on to it with us. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, so I expect that letter to go out probably within the next day or so. And because of the emergency nature of the situation, I would anticipate that the department would not take too long in responding. So maybe we'll have word on that by the end of this week. Pure conjecture on my part. I can't speak for the department. I can't speak for the other trade groups who are going to be involved in this. But that is my hope, at least. So I just wanted to cover those few questions in this video. I expect new questions to be popping up as the situation develops. Big I members have been, their customers are coming to them with questions, and then the members have been coming to us with questions, and I'm sure those questions are going to change as events change. So stay tuned for future videos in this series. I hope you found this one helpful. And in the meantime, please stay safe, everybody, and follow the guidelines for social distancing. I think that's probably the only way we're going to get through this in something resembling a short time frame. So thanks for watching 2 Minutes with Tim. I'm Tim Dodge.